and go ahead and say your intention. Okay. And so what has been coming up in that backspace to clear? Are you getting up then and writing? Have you designated a time? You're trying to go to bed at 10, right? And then you don't sleep. Your power center, which is, your third chakra, that is where we kind of go out on the dream space and come back. And that is about distribution management too. It's kind of when you're saying, how do I spend my time? It seems like I can get more done than I get done. And this is where the confusion lies. And that space is typically programmed by the Father, as far as having success in the world and what you accomplish and how you manage that accomplishment. So it is about a time management energy center. That's your power. And that's what you're saying. I'm struggling with that power in that center. And how can I, you're creating a space, it sounds like, in order for you to write. You're setting that space because it's very important you set that up ahead of time because you want to make the space able for you to get in it. Because if you hit anything on an energetic level, it's going to be very hard for you to climb into that space and to write. But it sounds like you are doing better with that. You are sitting down, you're doing it. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Great. Well, that's a huge improvement because before you weren't even doing that. Yeah. So that's great. So I would continue with really clearing the space in the room too. And that exercise, clearing out your creative space. And it is there in your creative space is where I would put your intentions of what you do want to accomplish and achieve. Did you do that like within Moon Magic? We talked about how to create that. Mm-hmm. And so that has just been since Friday. And what did you notice even over the full moon with your creativity? There you go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but you're in the energy of the moon. In that energy center, I want you to imagine breathing in the loop, breathing in the turquoise. And if you can imagine, in a sense, that the diamond kind of at the solar plexus, and if you can breathe in the energy of that turquoise, because that turquoise will help you expand your field, expand your ability to create more, to do more, to show yourself in the world more. And these are all things that you need in order to have success. So breathe in the turquoise, and as you do, you can imagine your bubble expanding like a hot air balloon, and then exhale, and as you do, just pause for a second in the diamond of your heart. And then expand as you inhale, kind of move out beyond your field, beyond your bubble, and move it maybe out to the edge of the room. And at the edge of the room, pause for 2 to 3 seconds. And then really exhale. And feel it more in the solar plexus right here, in where the rib cages meet. And create that space and kind of open it up. Feel that space opening up so what can drop in and drop through is your energy, your power, your success, your ability to time management, your ability to, and then expand that out even further now. Further to maybe the edge of your house and see how that feels. And as kind of you're expanding out and contracting back, you're creating at the edge of the space, lots of space. Because if you're not able to quite bring in your ideas, kind of your intentions, you want to write, you want to, write that book proposal, then first we create it in a space, then we bring it into the body. And I don't know if you can feel, but there is a block in that area. You feel the block, right? And what does that feel like? Yeah, but that's very good. Yes, exactly. So yeah, as a kid, you just saw your dad work. He had 2 or 3 jobs, right? And all he did was work. So you never got to see your dad relax. You never got to see your dad receptive. You've never got to see your dad really just receive, to really open up, to do nothing. You probably never even saw him sit on the couch. Yeah, he was never sitting and receptive. So when you have an inflamed energy center, which is your power center, and in a way, you want to do things, and you do a lot of things because you work, and these are projects that you are creating on the side, early in the morning or late at night, or but two, it's so much energy is coming out that the body doesn't have enough time to really just kind of relax. And in the writing space, I want you to set it up more where the writing is really about receiving information, receiving kind of the, information from source about book proposal, about what it is that you need. A real receptive, open type of space, like this turquoise that you're breathing in, because when you expand your space, what happens, it's like opening your hands. When you're open, you will be able to bring something in, you will be able to receive it. But if your hands are closed, if you're doing, like when you look at your father's, how much was his ability to open up and allow the universe to come in? How much was that? 10%? Yeah. So there is something where we block, the flow of the universe to come in. It's kind of like those flowers. When your flower and that power center is open, you're going to receive more. But if it's blocked and closed and you're just doing, or what happens is, like you're saying, I want to do it, but I can't do it. Well, you can't do it in a sense because that area is closed off. So you can't access the energy coming in and through to get up off the couch, or, to move forward, to just, bring it in through a project because it's blocked. That's a block. And so that turquoise will dissolve that block. That turquoise will expand your field in all directions, vertical, kind of horizontal. So that breath is very important, because just even that simple kind of breath, breathing it in and then expanding out and pausing and then breathing it in, and you can, just imagine the infinity loops going in every direction, and then expand it maybe to the edge of your town, creating a field, a consciousness, an energy of unification, an energy of information, and an energy of, resource, of support. And what is it that you need? Because in order to do this book proposal, you do have to have information, unless you've done one before. Right. And so it's kind of like we move out and say hello to help, or where that information is, and we pull it back, opening, this power center, so that you can have this information within your body. And by doing that, then you're going to have more energy to just sit down in front of the computer and do it. It takes a lot of energy and effort. And, we're mainly an effort. We're trying to do it, but we hit pictures. So what happens when you go to do it? What happens when you're going to do it? You lay down or you watch TV. So you go unconscious. And that's very good to observe, because a lot of energy then goes out. And part of it too is, before you do anything, you've got to call your energy back. You've got to collect your energy up. And because it could be in many different places. And so even just sitting, sitting down, breathing, doing this breath exercise of unifying your fields, because when they're not unified, they get stuck at work. They get stuck in a demand. They get stuck in past time. They get stuck in the future. I need to do this. I need to do this book proposal. And then all of a sudden, when you have that intention, you can't even get it. You're going to bed. You're going unconscious. And so, in a sense, I need to do that. Bring that energy back into your power center and expand it, like the wave energy that will come as soon as you move it out, wherever my energy's at, come back. And moving it in that infinity loop, that wave, it just gets easy that it'll come right in and activate. Is how do I own my writing space? How do I own my creative space? And you have to own it first on an energetic level. And when you absorb other people's energy in you, then you feel like you're going nuts. You actually do hear voices, or maybe some people don't hear voices, but you feel off. And this is because somebody that is very, very highly sensitive, will absorb the energy in the environment. And that, okay, then what happens is you're used to allowing energy to run through your space. And then you're used to trying to ground it through your space, and it will make anyone kind of go crazy. And so, but this is the same when you look at your creative space, when you go look to create. Whose voice is in that space? Who, what are you allowing to run in it? Now, if the TV's on, social media is on, because that's a big collective energy. And there's a lot of hysteria on there. There's a lot of, ungrounded stuff. And so, you just get on that and you're allowing that to run through your field, run through your space. So you got to be very careful when you go on social media. You just got to put a diamond up. You got to make sure your bubble is sealed, because you'll run that right through you. It's like thousands now, voices, people in energy kind of running through. And your field will, it will become an extension of your field, and you got to watch that. Because really what we want to extend in your field is your power, your energy, and this ability where you can receive. So, and especially with the TV, you got to watch how much energy goes out into the TV. How, what are you watching? Oh, you watch news? Oh, yeah. I know. Well, just watch. Yeah, just limit the news. But also put a dime in there so your energy is getting reflected back to you, because you just have to see how much energy you have after you watch the news or TV, because it will fuel and it will feed other things and other people and maybe their creativity. So if this is about owning your power, owning your creative space, owning your voice. And so especially with the topic that you're writing about. And you got to keep clearing kind of your space with that blue, because that's where a true voice is going to be heard. And a true collective with what you're writing about, kind of the collective energy in that space of guides that can help you, because there's a lot of hysteria in that space that you're writing about. That there's a lot of pain, a lot of suicide, a lot of confusion, a lot of voices, a lot of, wouldn't that be correct? And so this is important because that's a part of the energy that you're trying to process, in putting that out there. How's the job going since last time? So, and then you're still continuing to get leads. And so see, look at how you work so hard on that space to really, and the update in that. See, it's very defined. That space is defined. Yes, I see that. You're holding on to your success and your power more. So it doesn't get kind of whittled away in that competition with other salespeople in your space. So can you feel how that space is pretty set? You feel free there. That's right. And look at how the pictures, they're very clear, very set. Like you've really, when you work for somebody else, it's sometimes easier to, you have to, you're in circuitry, you're in circuit with somebody else. You have to show up, right? You have to, but what's hard is when you're by yourself, what are you in circuit with? Who are you in circuit with? Like there is no one to kind of account to or be in relationship with or just, have that communication where you start to write. Let's see you in this space where you are writing, you are excited, you are reading your writing, that you are in relationship with this living project that you're doing, because your book is more than just a book, right? It has a voice. It's community and healing, and it has a voice beyond the story. And so it's about activism too. You want to engage people and you in this community connected to that. And that creates, so what you're doing is as you're breathing out this turquoise, expanding and unifying kind of your power out and pulling it back, you're connecting to these people in this field. Because isn't it interesting? Here you've written about something, and how many people are you connected to in that field? Right, just a few people. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so this is what we want, because I see that if that energy goes out, connects to them, pull back, then you've got a community around you that will help support this, and then you're talking about it. Because it's like, isn't it interesting? Sometimes in our creations, we get so isolated, like we want a relationship, but we don't go out. We're stuck home, but that's what we want. So how do we kind of have to go out to meet people? And so, but the first part of it is this creation. The next part is expanding out, connecting, and then we're receiving. So the energy goes out, it comes back. Because what I see is a lot of the energy and pain that you're hitting of kind of why you're going unconscious. You've created this isolation around it because there are so many wounds connected to that space that it'd be very, it's like you can even feel it now and you're not even fully connected. And just reaching out and saying hello, because a part of this community feels isolated, alone, checked out, can't get the energy in the body because it's too painful. It's very difficult to own a creative space, because if you are creating and you are in your power, what's going to happen? What does that mean? What will happen? You will help families, you will help kids. Exactly. And not only that, but when you're powerful and you're helping people, there's energies that don't want you to. There's energies that feed off more where kids aren't helped, where they're not supported, where confusion and chaos reigns. And so there's a lot of energy that will try to block you. So you don't own your power. And that's the energy you're clearing. That's the energy of like, get out of my creative space. I'm going to own my creative space. And my energy is going to be in it. And when you have your energy in it, because it's like, wow. Our voices are changing the world. That collective voice. Okay. All right. May it be so.